Well, the report itself goes through an analysis of the use of targets or quotas or affirmative action, so to speak, and Ms Broderick, the Commissioner, was asked about this morning. She essentially says, and the report essentially says, you can do one of two things. You can rely upon a trickle-up effect, or you can take some positive action to effectively accelerate that process. She takes the view, and she's recommended it to the government through her report, that we should take positive action, and we accept that. We agree with that. We see both in the recruitment, retention and senior roles areas a fewer number of women than we would want to see. So we're very happy to take that positive or affirmative action. The Commissioner does make the point in her report and generally that in the end decisions have to be made on the basis of merit or meritorious approach. So she's not recommending that someone who is not merit-worthy for a job be given a job. She makes the point, for example, that there are any number of women applicants for a position who are unsuccessful in getting that position, but because they have applied and been considered, show that they have the merit for the job. So we're prepared to overcome the structural deficiencies that she refers to. We're prepared to take that positive action.
Minister, how long will it take to correct then the underrepresentation of women at an executive level in the Defence Force? I mean, well,
as the Commissioner has said, and as General Hurley has said, and I'm happy to say, it's not going to occur overnight. There have been a number over the years of snapshots of defence conduct or defence culture. And in my experience, in the recent period, most of those reviews or reports have said we've made some progress, but there's more work that needs to be done. That was true of the Commissioner's report into ADFA, as it was true of earlier reports into ADFA, and I think true of the so-called cultural reviews generally. So it's not going to occur overnight. But the important point that I think that I've made, and that General Hurley has also made, is that in terms of cultural attitude and approach, in terms of treatment of women, attitude, approach and outcomes, the ADF and the government now have two very important documents which provides us both the pathway and the prism through which these issues now must be viewed. The document called Pathway to Change, which was the overarching response to the earlier cultural reviews into use of alcohol, use of social media, personal conduct and the like, which was essentially crafted by General Hurley and Secretary Lewis, which we released earlier this year, and now this document. The heavy lifting, so to speak, will be the implementation of the recommendations. As David has said, some of those go right to the very foundations of recruitment, retention and promotion through the system. But the most important thing is that the Chief, his service chiefs and the Secretary not only welcome the report and are absolutely committed to implementing its recommendations, they were closely involved in assisting Commissioner Broderick to come to her conclusions as General Hurley has outlined. Don't hesitate to jump in whenever you want to.
Just to further amplify that, we are right on the verge at the moment of quite a number of women coming into senior appointments in the ADF, but it's not on a systemic sense. So we've got a wave coming through, but when you look behind that, there's a bit of a gap before another group comes. So it's how do we correct that and have a constant flow of the right number of women coming into those appointments.
General Hurley, one of the key points that the Minister makes is that this is necessary not just for equality but for the operational effectiveness of defence. From your position, how is the operational effectiveness of defence going to be enhanced by having more women both in senior roles and also having a greater sense of ownership of their careers within defence?
Well, I think if you look at the performance of senior women in the ADF at the present time, from captains of naval ships to commanders of units to commanders of Air Force squadrons and so forth, it's quite evident that women more than have enough sufficient talent to do these jobs and compete well with the male brethren. We have to create the opportunity for them to do that, And certainly if you see the performance of many of the Navy ships, the first C-17 Squadron, for example, all excelled at their work. We've got every confidence that if we get the right women in the jobs, we'll get the right results.
How about
I might just sneak in myself and add to that. These days a modern defence force has to be capable in the modern world, and that includes use of modern technology. So you go onto a ship these days, you go onto a frigate, and the first thing you are confronted with, whether it's on the bridge or in the combat area, is high technology, high use technology. So cyber, use of high technology, use of modern platforms. These are things which require not a particular gender, they require individual intellectual skills and aptitude. And just as the Chief has said, I've been onto ships or been to our air bases where there are young men and women both doing those roles, and they are both equally capable of doing them.